It's John Venezia of RotoWire, and we're talking 4 players that are bound for a breakout in the second half of the year. Juan Soto. This is a name that you may not be expecting that was going to struggle this year. 41 homer season in the Bronx last year, but comes across town. Wasn't exactly the start that many Mets fans or fantasy owners were hoping for. 247 average, 13 homers, and an 842 OPS. It's gotten better recently as his June start's been awesome with a 333 average, 4 homers, and 1167 OPS as we are halfway through the month. Ultimately, I think Juan Soto struggling in this situation, yes, it was a surprise, but people thought translating from hitting in the Bronx ballpark at Yankee Stadium with Aaron Judge as protection compared to hitting at Citi Field, which is much less of a hitter-friendly park, was it going to take some adjustments when ultimately it was, and it's not really a surprise. And I think anybody that gave up on Juan Soto needs to take a step back and realize that this is still one of the top players in Major League Baseball, and a big rebound is going to be happening in the second half, as we've seen already here in this month of June. The strong advanced metrics also suggest that he's going to continue to trend in the right direction. His expected batting average of .310 with a 56.8% hard hit rate. There's a lot of red on Juan Soto's Baseball Savant page. So if for some reason somebody in your league was just sick of him and his lack of superstardom, for lack of a better word, go make sure you get a little trade bait going here. But otherwise, I think Soto's going to be just fine. And I alluded to it on this article for some of the top MLB players that are ultimately bound to regress to the mean in a positive manner or a breakout. Soto's at the top of the list for a reason, not just talent-wise, but I think when you look further down the board on his advanced metrics, there was a lot to suggest that it's going to continue to turn around for him. Next up's Adley Rutschman. This has been really a controversial player in the last couple of years. Adley Rutschman was a superstar at Oregon State, won the Golden Spikes Award, and everybody expected him to be like the next Buster Posey. Switch hitting catcher with a high floor and a really good ceiling, and it hasn't necessarily been there yet. He had a strong 2023 campaign, but it wasn't off the charts, and we really haven't seen that progression from him these last 2 seasons. It's a 232 average with 7 homers and a 698 OPS so far in 2025, but he's gotten it together. A strong start in June is a 366 average with a 998 OPS and 2 homers, and his 40.3 hard hit percentage would be the best of his career at this point. The 267 expected batting average isn't exactly to the level that we're hoping for, but it certainly suggests that he should be about 30 points higher in batting average compared to where he is. Now, I'm with you where I think Rutschman should be doing a lot better than he is, but it's also fair to say he's probably not gotten as lucky as he could have with some of the hard hit balls not falling for him. And in an Orioles lineup that has a ton of talent, I expect Adley Rutschman to be able to get it together and put up a solid 2025 campaign that's ultimately going to catapult him to a great season next year. I'm not giving up on Rutschman. I still think he's uber talented, but there's got to be some adjustments that are going to be made. And ultimately, it's not as bad of a year as it looks like on paper for the young Orioles catcher. If you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because right now on RotoWire, you're going to get 15% off of any product on rotowire.com. That includes our top 400 prospect rankings, prop picker tool, and access to our experts for those tough start-sit decisions. Use code YouTube15 at checkout. Not to mention, it's College World Series time. Best time of the year. Full swing. Your boy's got all the picks, all the analysis on RotoWire, so you're going to be getting that access as well. We're back here, and we're going with Bryan Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reynolds has probably been one of those most unsung heroes in baseball in the last half decade plus. For all you fantasy baseball nerds and all you disgusting deep divers that like to get into the weeds, Reynolds has been so underappreciated, but he's been so productive. .223 batting average, 8 homers, and a .658 OPS thus far in 2025. Doesn't exactly resonate with what he's been doing for the past 5 or so seasons. The K rate is high at 26.1%. That would be a career worst to this point, so that's something that does have to get cleaned up. But I still think even in a Pirate lineup that doesn't have a whole lot to brag about aside from O'Neal Cruz, Reynolds remains somebody that is going to be a good fantasy contributor for your team, even though it doesn't look like that just yet. He's got a strong expected slug percentage of .495 and a career best barrel rate of 11.3%. Ultimately, we know Bryan Reynolds typically finishes at around 24, 25 homers, at least he has the last 4 years, with a respectable batting average in the .260 vicinity. So this is a guy that you're not expecting to be a superstar for you, but definitely a strong contributor and somebody that's going to help get you fantasy points and contribute to the goal of winning a championship. So I wouldn't panic on Reynolds yet. I think a turnaround is coming sooner than later. Last but not least, Salvador Perez. Talked about him a little bit in a couple of these articles. I think Perez obviously has his best baseball behind him. The Renaissance breakout from 2021 where he hit almost 50 home runs was it was insane. It's only a .232 average with 6 homers and a .635 OPS thus far, but the start in June's been solid. 300 average, .787 OPS, 2 homers. I think that the good start here also coincides with the arrival of my boy Jack Caglione, getting some more juice in that lineup, providing more opportunities. The .270 expected batting average is definitely solid, about 40 plus points higher than where he currently sits in reality batting average. But the 45.4 hard hit percentage, that's the best since 2022. So he's still putting the bat on the ball, and it's coming off hard off the bat. And the barrel rate as well at 12.3% is the best since 2021. So while Salvador Perez isn't going to give you those gaudy numbers like he used to, at a shallow position like catcher, I still think there's enough value to have him in your starting lineup for the eventual comeback in the second half. Perez is getting hot. He's going to be somebody that can provide you some nice steady points. And I think somebody like Salvador Perez, with as much history and as much production in this league as we've seen from almost anybody else, the turnaround's coming for him. So don't give up on Salvi just yet.